Hi viewers, we are taking you straight to the live coverage of the New Era Conservationist press launch, an event with music and poetry currently taking place at the Green Talk Gardens. It's all about securing natural freedom for all wild animals. Let's head there and catch the live event as it unfolds.
Greetings! Greetings, salam, to all those who are joining us to celebrate this new era conservationist whose commitment in freeing animals from captivity has not only touched the world, but has also brought many souls together in recognizing our dedication in upholding the emancipation of wild animals from man-made cages. Thank you. Now to start us off, let us get some great music from none other than K-Nomics.
Umesikia utamu? Aitwa K-Nomics. Na bado kwa hapa hivi. So, kwa sababu tunaongelea kuhusu hiyo New Era Conservationist, siwache tukupatie yeye mwenyewe a live performance immediately after hii conversation. Kwa sababu ukiangalia hapa hivi niko na mzee baba mwenyewe. Wewe ni msanii by the way. Wewe ni poet wewe ni spoken word artist Wewe ni mtu ambaye anapenda poetry after lunch Wewe ni mtu ambaye huenda KNT. Aya, ndo hawa wazee hapa hivi. Wako hapa hivi. Kwanza nataka nijue huyu afisi kulinda fisi walipatana aje wakasema, napenda kitu ambacho unafanya. Tunaweza fikiriaje basi tulinde wanyamapori wetu through your art. That was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about New Era Conservationist. It's a 17 minutes short film. Lakini si film. It's poetry. Hapana, si poetry. It's music, live performance, K-Nomics akiwa hapo hivyo. Lakini si hiyo. Ni news, juadi inaanza na news. But si hiyo bado. It's all this combined to give you one. Yani kitu short unakaa tu hivi unapigwa na short unachanga. Haya, alafu wana change scene, wanatoka hapa hivyo, kuna mwanahabari ako live reporting live from location. Ladies and gentlemen, wacha niwapatie nafasi kwanza wasalimie, wajulie hali, alafu tupate kujua this masterpiece, all of it has a message and a theme: wildlife and animal protection. Good morning, Kiriri. Habari asubuhi.
Nzuri sana.
A long time,
but first of all, you are amazing, bro.
Walai. Ni God manze. Na usikii wale Digital Fits Award wamekataa na award yangu. Wameniambia nilipe 6K.
Hapana, wana package to give it to you at God's time.
Na mmesikia nani anasema mlezi wa wasanii hapa hivi. Mlezi wa wasanii ndo wamekuwa akisema ya kwamba Excellence Awards are about Excellence Awards. Umewaka na wasanii wengi sana.
Yes.
Hebu wasalimie basi kwanza wajue wewe ni nani.
Thank you so much. I am Odongo Kennedy Liki, aka Kenneth B. And today I'm at KUTV, huku ni kwetu. And I'd love to share with you the passionate thing we share about wild animal protection. And today we are sharing our film, New Era Conservationist. Be with us. Be our guest.
Yes, sir. Mazeke napende tu. You know, we are used to, when you are in a position ya kulea hawa wasanii, unafika mahali unakaa tu boardroom. Lakini wewe umepiga hiyo scripting na bado uko kwa hiyo script.
Yes.
Awesome. Tutabonga kuhusu hiyo. Pale hivyo niko na karibu nikuulize kama unapenda wanyama. Niko na mtu ambaye alijitolea akasema mimi maisha yangu and my main mission and purpose in this world is wildlife protection. Anatoka Wildlife and Animal Protection, WAP. Ian, good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Ningetaka kwa hii kamera ya nyumbani, salimia hawa watazamaji. I want them to know what you do. Ndio tukimaliza hapo hivyo, in fact first question bado nitaenda kwako. Uniambie vile ulidecide mumeandikia watoto, they used to come to our primary schools and tell us, give us wildlife cards, tell us wase tokeeni, hata kama umesota basi enda orphanage, ona wanyama wewe, usikae tu nyumbani. Right now you've grown from that to collaborating with artists to make such a film to pass the same message, na mnaita new era, yani ni mpya. Ian, wasalimie wakujue.
Asante sana and good morning to everyone. So kwa majina naitwa Ian Muriu. I work for an organization by the name of World Animal Protection. World Animal Protection is an animal welfare organization. Tunalinda wanyama, as you said it.
Wanyama walindwe.
Tunalinda wanyama.
Fisi walindwe. Ndovu walindwe. Wagani wengine wako saizi wanahantiwa sana? The poaching iko wapi sana?
Tuna simba, tuna
ndovu. Wanapochiwa pia?
Yes, as trophies. That is across the nation, across the continent. In regions kama South Africa or the Southern Africa region, tuna issues mingi sana za simba kuwa poached. People take the skin and the head as a trophy. Piga picha pale, onesha watu mimi ni shujaa, niliua simba.
Ukweli?
Yes.
Iyo ndo nataka kuuliza. Hata wacha trophy hunting in that design. When growing up, I used to hear about a community that during initiation, uwe simba ndo ukwe mwanaume. You're saying kitu kama hicho bado kiko? Kuna watu bado wanafanya hivyo ndo feel wewe ni mwanaume uwe simba?
So in this case, the local communities impact yao kwa wanyamapori na impact yao kwa the nature is not as big as we might think of it to be. But sasa shida tuna wale watu wanatoka nchi zingine. We have people coming from all the way from Europe, from the US. Wanakuja hapa Africa since we have a huge number of wildlife and we have a very good scenery. People come in here, they want to do such things. People want to poach elephants, people want to poach simba, as we said. On the other hand, looking at our own impact to the ecosystem and our own impact to the society, we have people wanaenda kule msituni, mtu anachukua mnyama kutoka kwa msitu, wanamweka nyumbani kama pet. We have people going for parrots. We have people who go for turtles and tortoise. Unachukua, unamuuza kama pet, ama wengine
after umekana
wanakula wanyama.
Sawa. Kubwa sana. Na wewe ulikaa mahali ukasema ni sawa basi, wacha nifanye hivi, tap into Ken's world. Kennedy, sijui kama saizi unajua pale vile imekuwa kitu kubwa. All artists, unaona venye wengine wanataka waue simba ndo wasikie wao ni wanoma. All artists want to perform at poetry after lunch to feel they are great.
Yes.
Hiyo jani, hebu tuirudie. Mimi sijaipiga na wewe story kuhusu hiyo jani. How did you sit down and decide from now on I want to help my fellow artists and it is in this way?
First of all, the pride of every big tree is the seed that was dropped in the soil that particular day it started growing. So for me, Pearl has been a journey. We started like 3 of us just sitting under a tree. We call it Mugumo tree at the Kenya Cultural Center, the central tree. Just sharing our pieces of poetry. And you're like, this thing can grow bigger because the word that comes from inside has so much to do with the outside than in the inside. Because if you're silent, you kill yourself so much. If you take it out, it impacts.
Sorry.
So we started by sharing our words weekly, and then after that, we grew bigger.
Yeah. Napenda. So right now, kama umekuwa ukitazama art and culture, vipindi ambavyo vimekuwa yuzi, hasa vipindi ambavyo we've had Richard hosting. You've seen artists from as far as Embu, others sijui kutoka wapi, and all these people have been talking about poetry after lunch. This is the foundation. Na walikuwa watatu wakakaa chini wakasema tunafaa kusaidia wasanii wengine. What's the process like ya kukam kujoin PAL na kuwa part of artists wa poetry after lunch?
The process is as easy as coming every Thursday in your sober mind, not drunk, in your whole mind, and just joining us. We share the free lunch, given supported by Hare Krishna, and then after that we share the words. It's as free as such, supported by the government of Kenya, and that is the whole thing we celebrate about our government.
Government support,
of course, yes.
Kuna mahali kai ina work, you won't occupy everywhere, guys. Kuna mahali dabidi, you know what tunasema, give the devil his due. We've heard so much, especially on Twitter, people complaining. Today, it has started on a very high note, and then it's different and unique because Judy Meskia mtu ambaye anaongelelea serikali kuwako mahali. I love that, bana. It's good news. Now, wacha niibie wasanii siri. Kama wewe ni msanii na unaendaga KNT kutafuta auditions, maybe hata kama ni hizo za traveling theaters, akina Jicho 4 wako wapo tu hivyo. Kama unaendaga huko every Thursday, pop in pale hivyo poetry after lunch, check out vitu wao hufanya, and if you will not be inspired, you will aspire basi to inspire others. You kuwa inspired ama namna gani?
Before you expire,
you at one point unaweza expire, si ndio?
si ndio?
Ian,
yes.
So imefika mahali sijui kama wewe umekuwa ukitembea pale, nini ilifanya ufike mahali ukasema hapana, these are the right guys to approach? For me, in my fight of protecting wild animals, these guys can help me. Ilifika hapi ndo hiyo conversation ikafika hapo ukasema Ken, manze niko na
Okay. So for starters, our work with Ken goes long back. That is our work with artists.
Hii ni mabeshte.
Yes, we are.
Na nyinyi wote ni wazazi wa wao wasanii kabisa.
So yeah, as I was saying, relationship, the organization I work for, that is World Animal Protection, and the artists that we've worked with so far goes years back, from around 2018.
Yes.
From the year 2018. So we've been doing different projects pamoja. Tumefanya projects around pigs.
Yes.
Tumefanya projects around chicken. Tumefanya projects around antibiotics. Interesting conversation though. How you would incorporate.
Ningetaka kuiona. Kuna link mahali.
Utaipata. So we came from a standpoint of, we've had research pieces. Whenever we are working around issues in society, you want to back them by research. Want to back and fit them into something like a report. So this is a huge document that would probably occupy 40 to 60 pages or even more. And this is what you would be giving to the public, or this is what you would be giving to your audiences. Now, looking at this, we needed an easier way where we can communicate with people, pass across the message, at the same time being entertaining. A research piece. Lazima ibambe.
Leo ni kitu cha kwanza. Juu kama haibambi, there is no way I'm following the conversation on wild animals. Lazima kwanza inibambe.
Exactly.
You scripted this.
Yes.
What was going on in your mind? Ndo useme you want to do. Na ngoja. Pia, how long did it take? Nimeuliza maswali mengi, lakini yote mawili ni makubwa sana.
I think it took 8 months working on this, because we had a co-creation workshop first to keep the relevance going. Organized by World Animal Protection Africa at Westlands. That is when I brought the poets together, the musicians together.
Lazima ungeongeza at Westlands.
But you know, so I brought the poets together, the artists, and then we had to be given the right direction to write towards, because you cannot just wake up and write, maybe you are going against what the organization is trying to push. So we had to do the co-creation workshop, get the facts right, then go for a retreat, and then develop the lyrics, call ourselves together, now listen to one another, and then leave the driver with the work to arrange the whole thing. And that is what I did now, coming up with the whole arrangement of how it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be catchy and entertaining, bringing Steph, our presenter, all those facts now I had to generate that quick enough so that it really runs right with the whole community or the entertainees and edutainees. Yes.
Maze, you're talking about quick and doing that quick, and it has taken 8 months. 8 months. Guys, even if you have not watched that short film, I'd like, as unasikiza hapa hivi, utafute way ya ku make sure una watch. So you decide unataka kila msanii akulie kwa hii sahani. Kila mtu. You have a news anchor. You have a news reporter. You have a government spokesperson.
Yes.
You have yourself pale.
I have myself
as an MC.
As a reggae artist.
As a reggae artist. Na sasa uko na kina.
We have the audience.
Na audience.
Yes.
Na kuna jamaa mwingine nimecheki. I wasn't watching that thing alone. I was watching that with my friend. Na sisi tukitokea kwa events, sisi you shoot. So ye jamaa alikuwa ni utamsingle out juu akona kasimu pale hivyo mazee. At some point kaliisha moto. That was so amazing.
Yes.
Now, wamesema wanataka kuongelea kuhusu this poet saving an elephant. Naona hadi poster mmekataa kuweka sura zenyu. Mmesema ni hawa wanyama ambao tuna protect. The subject ikuwe hapo hivyo. What is going on in your mind? No, discuss useme nataka tuongelele hawa wanyama pori in this way. Ama what role did you take hapo hivyo yan?
So in this scenario, we wanted to center the messaging around our core work. We do a lot of things that are geared towards the protection of animals. As I said, animal welfare. Lakini on the other hand, which is something that is key to note, these animals are critical to the way we live and to our ecosystem. Ukiangalia mnyama leo hii ana impact kwa maisha yako. Whether it's a lion, whether it's an elephant, whether it's the tiniest of animals that is out there in the world. When we come to talk about our ecosystem and how our planet looks, we cannot ignore their problems when we are trying to solve our problems. A lot does cut across when it comes to things like diseases, when it comes to contribution to the ecosystem. Sisi wote, we all play a key role to this. So when you see us putting mnyama hapo, doesn't mean we're ignoring human beings. Yeah. We are not ignoring our vegetation, our plantation out there. We're all looking at it from a multifaceted way. Unatoka hapa nje unaangalia unaona, if I look or take care of an animal, it also impacts my life. It impacts the ecosystem that we live in. Ukitoka hapa hivi nje uangalie misitu yetu, bila hawa wanyama, we'll see some things we've never seen before. When it comes to, we can look at things like fertilization. That is manure for these plantations and vegetations that we see out here. Sometimes these animals are neglected to a level that unaona tu ni mnyama tu. But the role that they play is very critical to our thriving as a society and exactly as a planet. So utapata pale kwa poster tumeweka mnyama, that is keeping it as our focus is on the animals, but we're not neglecting all these other angles.
Exactly. Tunza punda kutunze.
Exactly.
Saizi ndio tuko hata wild animals manze, they can help us so much.
Yes.
If we could just agree sisi sote tushikane mikono and tuwatunze, then the world would be a better place. Ken,
yes.
Katika fani hii ya utangazaji na wanahabari, huwa tuko kila mtu kuna kitu anapenda, na kuna mahali atajikita. You'll want to acknowledge something that you love more than si ati hizi zingine unachukia, but what you love most. you'll want to be identified somewhere. For example, when it comes to journalism, there are those who are political journalists, there are those who are business journalists, whether focus wamepungua baridi manyunyu kaskazini wamepungua. But sasa, when you are doing the casting for New Era Conservation, what kind of, obviously ulikuwa unatafuta artists, ulikuwa unatafuta wale artists wanapenda wanyama, ama what was the process of casting like? Who are your ideal actors for this project?
Like you've just said, kama ni journalist wa mtu anapenda what to do, and that is normal with life. Kuna place ukipanda maize haitagrow, kuna place ukipanda coconut haitagrow, but the bottom line is that they have life in them, and the core thing is that life. So I was looking for life in all these artists, and then plant them in a garden where they can all thrive. So I was not only looking at artists who have the love for animals in themselves, because after all we are all animals. So kuna vile unaweza hate animal and you are an animal. It's only very good. So so I was looking into authenticity, like Iso Steph, the opening girl, the opener, very authentic. K-Namix, very authentic. Kenneth B, very there. Very authentic. Priest, the poet, who is now the New Era Conservationist we are celebrating in this particular film. Very authentic. Lucy, the government representative, very authentic. If you check out the in poet, Frenzy the poet, very the audience, very authentic. Wild Animal Protection Africa, where the video is, the YouTube page, very authentic. So what did I miss? Where did I blunder? Nowhere.
I love it manze. Hadi unamaliza na shanga sasa nini naweza ongeza hapo hivi. Inaisha. Ian.
Yes.
At World Animal Protection Africa, you've done a lot of projects before the New Era Conservation. What other projects have you done, and how can people join you? Ama lazima wapitie pale ndo ndio milango ya connection pia iko na kitu inaitwa bureaucracy. You cannot get Ian kama hujapata Ken. You must get Ken for you to get Ian. What other projects have you been doing at WAP?
Okay, so World Animal Protection over the years has been involved kwa projects mingi sana, from dealing with animals in the community, animals in disasters. That is whereby we've done work around vaccinations. That is for dogs, vaccination for other animals, animals that are in disasters. Whenever there is a drought, whenever there are things like floods, we used to get involved at such bits of work. But with just like a growing organism, an organization has to evolve at some point. So a few years back, we evolved to a level where we strategized our work differently and got two key focus areas. That is animals in the wild and animals in the animals that are in our food systems. Wanyama wa nyumbani, that is wanyama tunao consume kama chakula. That is, we have things like chicken, things like pigs, cows. So we moved a bit to look from that angle, whereby you looked at the animals that have the highest bit of suffering kwa dunia. When we were to talk about issues like factory farming, tulipata globally, we have pigs and chicken being the highest animals that are in these systems. So that is an issue we wanted to talk about. On this other end, when we went to wildlife, we wanted to look at animals that are involved the most in cruelty and suffering. Before, we've done projects around ball pythons. That is mainly ball pythons, python, nyoka. So that was mainly focusing at regions of... Yes.
Mujilo ana watch show.
Okay.
Aitwa DJ Nyox.
Okay. So looking back, these are some of the animals that have been involved in the most cruelty. And this is mainly brought about by kutreda wanyama. Trading in live animals. That is trading animals as pets. Sometimes these animals are traded for things like for ziende zitumike kama ingredients for medicine. We have parts of animals, like if we were to look at a region like Southern Africa, we have people who are rearing simba. kama mbuzi
nyumbani.
Unachukua simba unamweka in a cage or in an enclosure, then you breed them so that huyu mnyama, that is the bones and bits of the animal after umemua, you can sell them as produce. We have people who trade in things like the Africa grey parrot, which has been a big campaign area that we worked around and a very huge success. We worked with the Turkish airline, which was one of the highest suppliers or highest transportation enablers were this trade. That was the trade in the Africa grey parrot. We did a campaign targeting them, and it worked well for the organization. We saw results after that, whereby they put it public, they're no longer going to deal or transport these animals. So we're looking at an angle where do we see the highest cruelty when it comes to how animals are living? And bottom line is we want to give animals a life worth living. Tunataka mnyama maisha yenye naishi is comfortable enough. If you to look at the life that they're not going to negatively impact the animal's natural behavior, or we're not going to hurt the animal in that process. So tumefanya projects mingi that is around animals you have at home, animals that are in the world, looking from an angle of these animals. They do have an impact on our lives, they do have an impact on our ecosystem, and that is why we are doing what we do. That is from the angle of world animal protection. When it comes to the work that we are doing with the artist, we looked at it as an avenue that we can use to pass across the message. Kuna watu wengi sana hapa nje hawajui these issues actually exist. Lakini huyo mtu akisikia Kinamics pale ametupigia tune moja ya guitar, ana pull attention and they start to listen to that. So how do you bring in that message we pass across in an entertaining and a simple way?
Manze napenda. You know, it's not like these people hate wild animals so much. It's just that they've not come across someone who is interestingly giving them information about wildlife and how to do wildlife protection. For example, mtu akiwatch New Era Conservationist, which is the short film that we're talking about sahi, it talks about protecting the wild animals. Atapata motisha wa kujiuliza, and what have I been doing? Ikiwa kwa hii movie everyone is taking part, anaongelea kuhusu wildlife and wild animal protection. What have I been doing? Isikata mimi ni mechanic, but what can I do in this capacity to help these wild animals ndo watusaidie? Wewe kama msanii, we all know that art is a reflection or a mirror of our society. Sauti na kioo kwa jamii. Miaka fulani hapo hivyo, mbwa alimsaidia mtoto mkubwa saizi na anapenda mbwa. We've also had cases zenye dolphins wamesaidia binadamu from drowning situations huko kwa oceans and all that, meaning hawa watu wanaweza tusaidia. When you are casting, ndio useme unataka kuongelelea this poet mwenye alisave an endangered baby elephant. Ulikuwa unafikiria nini saa hizo ndio useme I think this is the story?
One thing true about artists is that they have an active living being inside them. And once you hear like Priest the poet, who is now the main character, when I met Priest in Nakuru, we were doing some audition. And the first time I saw him, I told him, on stage, I told him the audition is over. I'm done with what I'm looking for. I've found you. Because of that authenticity which I talked about. And those are the vital elements that when you're casting, you should check into someone. Can you see the life in this person? Is this artist an actor also? Can he dramatize? Can he bring to life the feeling that is worthwhile driving this course? And I found that in all of them. And that is the best thing I've ever enjoyed in my life when I sit down watching the film.
I loved it. Kuna hadi mwanadada pale hivyo who is living with albinism. She did an awesome work kwanza on stage. And I got to me thinking, watu walitolewa wapi?
perfect inclusivity. Perfect. Yani, she did a wonderful job. A great vocalist together with Purity. Kate, you're talking about Kate and Purity, the backup vocalist. And we worked through time, and it was just juice, brother.
Kuna mwenye anauliza kama hii kitu itakuwa ikifanyika live. We'll be telling you about that and where they will be doing the screenings. Because the reason I'm saying this, it's like for those of us who are artists too, you can tell like the sound is too good. Ilifanyika kwa studio kama muziki, mlirecord kama muziki ndo muingie, ama ilikuwa inafanyika live? Because the sound,
you are truly a professional.
Really?
You are, bro. You are good, man. You're good, man. It had to be done professionally.
It had.
So that we attain that kind of quality, global quality, international quality, holistic quality. We had to go deep and do segmental production. Yeah.
Your speech, but only spoken word piece. The speech ya huyu jamaa mwenye ndo government representative.
Yes.
It's still a spoken word.
Yeah, Lucy. That's still spoken word. And even the frenzy, the journalist.
Yeah.
It's still spoken word.
It's still spoken word.
And even the new era conservationists, it's still spoken word. And now K-Nomics alongside Kenneth B, the Rastaman, the balded Rastaman, now brings the music to bring the musicability, if that word exists in the whole production.
Nikuulize, if K-Nomics atakuchezea guitar before aingie mambo yake, unaweza piga kadini kadogo?
If he gets the chords right, I cannot bring Discord.
Wacha nikuambie kitu. Maybe saizi ndio umefungulia TV. We're talking about New Era Conservationists. It's a 17 minutes short film na imejaa hizi vitu zote. If you ever loved or appreciated art, it has each and every piece of art. Isipokuwa contortionist muliwa wacha wapi?
Second, part 2 is coming.
Part 2 is coming. Na pia inaweza ifixiwa mahali kwa live performance.
Yes.
Ian.
Yes.
Mimi saizi assuming nataka hawa wasanii sasa namaanisha hawa wote wakuje kwa project fulani noma kama New Era Conservationists. I think kama niko na pesa fiti ndawapeleka tusomee hii script kwa huko mahali tunaona tu wanyama, kama ni kwa mbuga tusomee huko juu it's easier. The process here after scripting and msha identify actors na mnataka sasa waingie in script, ndo kila mtu aweze kutoa hii yake, all the way from the news anchor, kila mtu aweze kutoa the beast, hiyo unyama, juu tunaongelea wanyama pori, in him or her. How was it? The process ilikuwaje? Mliwatayarishaje ndo mpaka mseme sasa guys I can start shooting?
So when it comes to the artist process, tunaongelea from this angle talanta. We identified, and with the help of Kenneth B, the people we've worked with before are people who've had a passion for this kind of art. Ulisema ni kioo cha jamii. So you have to look at what can we, or what is the easiest way we can interact with our jamii in this case. So tukaangalia people who are good at what they do. Slowly and slowly we brought in animal protection and animal welfare as a different avenue that people can explore. Unajua kwa usanii, anyone at any point can get hit by content block. Mimi ni msanii at my own right actually. So unapata kuna wakati you've hit a point where no more ideas are flowing. This is not a conversation people have been having for a very long time.
Anaanza kupanda mlima.
Sasa hapa tuko na msanii, and we've brought in a new avenue they can look at. You see, we are talking about art with purpose. If we talk about art for activism, this is a great way you can go about it. Watu wameimba kuhusu vitu mingi, watu wameongea kuhusu vitu mingi, but how many people do we have that are talking about animal welfare? How many people do we have that are talking about animal protection? So in this case, we do this continuously. We bring in people like artists in this case to a space, educate them and sensitize them on issues, animal welfare and animal protection. On the other hand, we do the same for journalists. We do have trainings with journalists where we bring them into a room. We tell them about the issues that we are focusing on. We tell them about how to begin in this journey of animal welfare and advocating for animal welfare. We also bring in people from the digital space. We're working with people from social media. You bring in them into this space, ni watu wako na interest there. How can I push something positive to the society? And they are good at what they do. And if they're not at that perfect level, we help them get to that level. So it all starts with sensitizing them to understand where the issue really is. As you said, watu wanaangalianga wanyama na wanasema ni mnyama tu wako hapa.
Ni mnyama tu, ndovu ni ndovu. Ndovu ananisaidia wapi na kazi yake ni kukula tu nyasi yote. Kuna watu, they don't appreciate that.
And in the real sense, people don't really hate these animals. People do neglect animals, but sio ile level where people we would say huyu mtu anachukia huyu mnyama. At some point it's just that lack of information. They are not at that level whereby we can say the awareness on issues around animal welfare and issues around protecting animals has gotten to that point where it's at peak. So we are still working around that. How do we get more people to know about animal protection? How do we get more people to be concerned about the welfare of the animals? They do benefit, as we said, benefit our society in a great way, But how do we get people to wakwe na hiyo information, wakwe na hiyo interest here, I need to protect these animals? In a case of the New Era Conservationists, to celebrate mtu alipatana na a baby elephant and they decided to help this elephant. So kesho, after watching this film and you find an animal that you're in a position of helping, you'd be drawn, I would assume you'd be more drawn to helping this animal than kumwacha tu in their own misery. Ama you actually inflicting that pain or that suffering to that animal. With this kind of message getting out here, unapata mtu atakuwa na that interest, mtu atakuwa drawn towards, let me actually protect this animal, let me actually help this animal in that case. But circling back to your question, it all starts with our sensitization and training them. We do have these opportunities and we do reach out to people. We tell them we have this and this. Can you join us? We will tell you more about what we do and more about issues around animal welfare.
You ensure that you empowered everyone in this cast process or in the project. Unajua cast sometimes watu wanaweza chukulia ni wenye walionekana. Wanasahau kuna wase walishoot kitu. Kuna watu waliedit kitu. And that footage manze kuingia ikae 17 minutes, it's a lot of work. So you empower them by sensitizing them on the information that you want to sensitize the masses with.
Exactly.
Wajue zaidi as wanajulisha wengine. That's awesome. Can it be? Utapata hapa Kenya, we are trying to discourage people maybe from adopting hawa wanyama wajiekee nyumbani. Mtu atataka ajiekee simba, akikaakaa auwe huyu simba ndo auze the bones, the skin, the mane, vitu kama hizo, si ndio? But in another country, the relationship between human beings and these wild animals has worked, others so perfectly. I've been to Thailand where they use elephants kuwasaidia in transportation, kulima na pia fighting. If you watched Ojwang na watu kama hao wakiwa pale hivyo. Sisi wa Africa, will we ever reach such a point? Ama what's the end goal? We are talking about new era conservation. And leo nitasema manze nimefurahi sana na what new era conservationists are doing, and there's somewhere kuna endanger the animal and I can help. Sijui nimchukue nimweke. Tutawaifika mahali tuanze kuona hawa wanyama for who they are, tuanze kuishi na wao wengine tu domesticate ikiwezekana, but not for the purpose ya watusaidie venye tunataka watupate mtu anakama ndovu, anataka kupika chai na hayo maziwa. Hiyo kitu haiwezekani ama tuwezi hitaji, but tutawaifika hiyo level that we are seeing these animals hivi. hiyo ndo kitu inaleta hii negligence yote. Juu watu wana feel manze ndovu anisaidia wapi ama usimba ananisaidia wapi. What's the end goal in future?
I think partnering with the relevant government agencies and private sector will really work in this, because the information will drive fast enough into reaching the parties concerned. Us guys at the locals doing this in our native language also. Translating New Era Conservationists into a native language. I'm talking to myself. So if we do that in our different native language, I think it will reach the common man down there, common wananchi down there, to understand that the only Simba is ni ile nyumbani Simba. Lakini sio ile Simba. Simba ishi kichakani, lakini Simba ile that small that man.
Na kanyumba. Kuna Simba zingine mbili zinabaki. Kuna Simba mwenye ni baba mlevi. Baba mlevi mwenye kifika kwa nyumba, the first statement, mama yako anawaambiaga mimi ni nani. Huyo ni Simba. Na kuna huyu Simba mwingine dogi. Simba. Na kuna hii Simba nyingine yenye sasa baba jadong uishi.
Alafu kuna hii Simba hat.
So we can still conserve the Simba bado akiwa in his own natural habitat pale msituni.
Very good.
Si lazima tuwalete nyumbani.
Like I always say, let the elephant understand that it is in the wild that it starts elegant. Let us leave them there. Kani kuwaona, we could go watch and then never disturb.
Ukweli. Mtu hadi kaa hizo ndovu, ikikaa nyumbani na kaaga simp. So kuna vile zika ndovu. Watoto wanarukia huko hivyo. Manze wapei ndovu heshima bwana. Wewe rukia sijui hadi hiyo ndo right of passage. Wacha mnyama akae mahali anakuwa mnyama.
Si ndio?
Mungu alikuwa anajua huyu ndovu akiwa in this natural habitat, hapo ndo ako fresh. Same case to Simba and all that. So umepeana point fiti sana that.
And imagine animals cry when their fellow animals die. Is it true?
It's
they cry.
True.
They gather around and cry.
They mourn.
It means they have emotions just like us. So why would you want somebody to take you from your house and take you to the wilderness to live in the forest, a human being? It's the same way taking an animal from there and bringing to a homestead to live there.
Ukweli.
These are essential beings.
Mdosi, unajua ni mdosi saizi. We've talked about 47 different languages and communities in Kenya. Sheng si lazima muwafanyie, because I feel the short film yenye iko ikikuwa screened, mkipanga venye itascreeniwa ama live performances, hapo hivyo language can be twisted. But for you to have maybe Akikuyu, unajua tuko art and culture, so lazima tuongelee hizi culture zote. Lazima kutakuwa na Wakikuyu, watu wa pwani watahitaji yao, na kuongelea sana hao wanyama huko hivyo. The translation, hiyo project itakuwa big sana. Hii project inafaa iwalishe hata kan 10 years, next 10 years, the same project, New Era Conservation. Hata ito New Era Conservation Pro Max. Na iendelee hivyo, si ndio? Because the conversation is too huge. Na I know we still have economics to perform today, so we have to make sure that we are winding up on this conversation so that we can bring him on set na atuambie kama atakuchezea reggae kiasi manze, because whether we like it or not, no one can stop reggae.
Abua fire
walike katika wachana na hiyo ya YouTube. You hata mimi niko hata mtu akiwatch. By the way, if you watch New Era Conservationists, you'll want to see what they can do live. So, Ian, tuambie about the performances zingine apart from hiyo zenye zitafanyika na mahali zitafanyika. Ndio nirudi kwa Kenneth B, yeye ndiye baba pale hivyo, atu welcome na atuambie mahali tunaweza pata ticket.
Okay. Just before I do that, if you allow me, I'd like to build up on something Ken alisema. When Ken talked about mnyama kulia, it builds up on an issue we call sentience. Sentience.
Nani anaandika? Sentience.
Sentience is the ability to feel, the ability to have feelings. Happy, sad, being in that emotional state. Ukiona mnyama analia, that's confirmation of sentience. Ukiona mnyama ana furaha, when you see that dog approach you and starts wagging its tail, it's trying to communicate something, it's showing something. Emotions come out of in such a way. The other thing I like to build up on you asked a question around if as a society tutafika mali watu wanaangalia wanyama at that level. Looking back, and this, I know many people would want or would make it controversial, but as an African society, we've always had a good relationship with animals. Until we started encroaching their spaces, then things started going south. Over the years, we even have communities that are known to specifically protect a certain animal. There are communities unaenda unapata wanaitanishwa na mnyama fulani. There you will find communities from a clan that's more concerned about the cheetah, the leopard, some about the monkey, about the lion. So this is something that has been there in the African society. But with time, we've gotten to that level where we no longer care about who we were in the relationships that we had, and now started looking at animals as a commodity, which is where we start to go wrong. Huyu mnyama is not a commodity. If we were to look at it as a nation, these animals do bring in income for the country when we look at things like tourism. But the problem comes in when we start bringing, as Ken said, huyo mnyama unamleta kwa nyumba, unamleta in a certain enclosure where it's not their natural habitat. And that's where we start.
Do you feel like sisi kama binadamu greed ndo imetufikisha hapo? Because kama hivyo venye umesema, hizo days za kitambo, some of these animals were still like gods. Na utapata hata mtoto akizaliwa akuwe na character fulani, haitwa jogu. Mwingine anakuwa mzuri sana, amejaza ni haitwa simba. Mwingine anamuita mboji. Siku hizi watu wamechange bana. Wanataka mtoto akizaliwa aitwe Fidel Castro, Obama, sijui nani. Tunaanza kudunisha simba.
Exactly.
Na ni kwa nini? Ndio nauliza hapo hivyo. Do you think we've become so greedy that tunataka tuingie space yao? Wao na wao ni wanyama. At the end of it all ni wanyama. So kama defense yao ni kukula mtu, utasikia so and so waliuliwa na simba, so and so, unaona? Juu utapata hadi huku ambako utasikia ndovu wameharibu mashamba ya wenyewe, utapata hayo mashamba yako in close contact na pori fulani. Ama vitu kama hivyo. Are we so much or too greedy?
At some level, I will say yes. Human beings have become greedy.
Unaogopa kuakizi.
No, it's very true. And at some level, we tend to look at economical gain, which at some level we do not really look at the whole picture. Mtu atachukua yule simba, umweke in an enclosure that will bring in people to pay and see, forgetting that yule simba angekuwa pale porini, watu bado wangekuja kumuona. There are so many people in that circle that would be able to get economical gain, which will not be at a level where they're exploiting this animal. So human beings tumefika hiyo point yenye we want to get money or economical gain out of everything. When you talked about watu wameweka mashamba karibu na mbuga za wanyama, that's a big issue. You find us tunataka kuingia kule porini. We do have spaces which we can all confirm, but tunataka unaenda pale hivi near that forest, at the edge of that forest, at the edge of that wildlife conservancy. The other thing is also there are things called wildlife corridors. Kuna mahali, as we know, animals in most cases move from one region to the other, and it's a practice that you will find going back and forth. So unapata in places like near regions like the Amboseli and Savo, we have these corridors where where animals used to cross the road, or where animals used to cross places where they can interact with human beings. Sasa shida yetu unapata, that's where we take our development as human beings. Nataka kufungua hoteli pale, nataka kutengeneza barabara pale, nataka kujenga nyumba yangu pale. Then we're wondering, why is it that huyu mnyama akitokea pale apate you're interfering with their corridor, anaingia kwa shamba yako, anakula mahindi yako, anaharibu vitu zako. That is us getting to that point where we've encroached their spaces. It's a big issue that we can talk about for a very long time. There are people who really don't see it as it is, but yeah, at some level we have gotten into their spaces. We have
umeenda mbali sana. Unaona hapa Kitengela?
Yes.
Siku hizi naona kama hadi next MCA wakichagua na kutakuwa na public participation, itabidi wameita simba na monkeys there. Unapatana tu na simba 3 PM kwa kwa CCTV alikuwa hapo ni Rongai bado ni Kajiado Rongai Rongai na vile ni mbali yani hao watu walikuja Nairobi Kajiado tuishie ni Rongai 2 hours unafika huko unapata Simba Lake alafu tuko kwa era yenye kuna vijana ambao wamesoma sana ndio maana nasema New Era Conservationists will do wonders. You know why? Juu imekuja at a time yenye Africans, hata nisiende Africans juu sijui Nigeria kama wako formed kasisi, but hapa Kenya since 203 watu ambao hawamalizi form 4 it's a very thin percentage. So these people are aware, they know, ni vile tu hii information hawajataka kuinini, si ndio? Inamaanisha the future is so bright.
True.
Guys, upande mwingine papa hapa katika Art and Culture Monday, I'm seeing Kenamics getting ready for a performance. Let me tell you something. Hiyo performance yenye atapiga bado iko na lives. Na hizo ndio nataka Kenneth B. Utukaribishe, utuambie ni lini na wapi na saa ngapi na vile tunahakikisha kwamba hatuko nje ya hiyo hesabu ya kufika. So that as tunamaliza hapo hivyo we prepare him.
We have a private launch coming up on the 1st, and this will be it's invites only. You are invited though. And after that we'll be having a public performance, free concerts. We are planning with my boss here, and I know it will work right.
Siukule pause.
Okay.
There is a free public performance. And if you think maybe mimi nadanganya, Kenneth B ndiye amesema.
Yes.
Na mkubwa wake yako hapa hivi.
Yes.
So it must happen.
It must happen.
Tuendelee sasa.
After the private launch in the 1st, now this is for everyone who will come just for the love of animals, and it will be a big celebration. We'll join hands with our bosses down there, Madam Lucy Wanjiku, Madam Edith, everyone, certainly. So everyone will be there just to help this new generation youth artists celebrate it in a big style, open for everyone.
So 1st of August we have a private
a private launch,
a private
screening
launch. So hiyo tunapeana venue ama hiyo
ni yetu.
Hiyo ni yetu. Please nitawaambia the experience so that wajui.
Ndio.
Nataka nikimaliza hii show kwanza nene nikahype. I've not had enough time ya kuhype that short film, but imenibamba sana. Jana ndo nimewatch fiti. So lazima ni hype kwa at least hata my friends waget kuona nini hii.
Na umewambia pale wanaweza iwatch? Wewe mwenyewe umewambia pale wanaweza iwatch?
Afanya aje? Hizo bado ndo part of vitu zenye. Kwa hiyo kukukaribisha ulikuwa uambie. Hebu waambie mahali
wanaipata. Hiyo wacha ni boss wangu aseme.
Wewe boss ndo usikatae mambo ya hii project kwa nini? Peana hiyo. Alafu tupe pia social media handles zako mahali tunakupata. If anyone is interested in joining Wild Animals Protection, vile anaweza kupata. Tunataka tuingie performance sasa.
Okay, perfect. So as we wrap up, the video is live on our YouTube channel, that is Wild Animal Protection Africa. Ingia pale kwenye YouTube, type in Wild Animal Protection Africa, and on the videos you will see it. It's among the the very top videos. Utaona New Era Conservationist pale. Drop that like, drop that comment, and we will keep this conversation going. When it comes to our social media platform, you can find us on Twitter, now known as X. You will find us at Move the World AF for Africa, or just type in World Animal Protection Africa. You can also find us on Facebook, same World Animal Protection Africa. You can get to interact with us on our website as well, that is World Animal Protection, www.worldanimalprotection.co.ke. Pale utapata communication channels such as an email whereby you can reach out to World Animal Protection. Thank you.
Nyama huwa ni tamu ukiwacha unyama dhidi ya wanyama. So enjoy your meat, but know where it comes from. Ask before you eat. I'm Kenneth B. Kenneth B everywhere. Just Google and you'll find me. Thank you.